buddy. Good morning, YouTube. That transition looked cool. Swoosh. Got the ZX-10R back on the lift, and today's the day. I found a wrench in my pocket. Today's the day I found a wrench in the pocket. Today's the day that engine goes down. There shouldn't be a lot left to it. We've taken out as much as we could. We've disconnected everything we can find for now. There's a lot more electrical in here that I can't tell exactly where it goes to. Whether this stuff up here has to be disconnected, I can't get my fingers in there at the angles, so I have to I'll have to lower it a bit. But first thing, I made sure it fit first. We had to go to our dealer, Mr. up at Hebler's, and buy this guy. This is a locking nut of some sort, and it goes right, where is it? Right there. It goes right here, and it locks this bolt that goes through the engine in, so that you can't get to this point and steal someone's engine. Kawasaki, explain to me why. Like, there's one here for the frame too. Why? I don't know. But we're gonna take that out, so we'll just work this out. There we go. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought, but it's still there. We're gonna take that right off completely, and then we're gonna go through the manual and see what the rest of the procedure is to get this engine out. I've read a bit of it, but it's been a minute. We're working on other bikes. We should be good. It looks like, is that really just locked in? I wonder if this bolt comes out and this just locks that bolt in. It might just be because of vibrations and craziness, like if everything else somehow came loose, that's tight down. But this was a pretty expensive piece, or expensive tool for this, so yeah. All right, one other thing I gotta go grab is a table lift to lower this engine down. The problem I'm finding here is, I haven't jacked the bike up yet, obviously, is this engine's not really flat underneath. So how I'm gonna jack this up without a flat piece is questionable. I'm wondering if taking the oil pan off is the best move here. Just drop the whole oil pan so I got the flat bottom of the casing. But we'll see. Also, looking at this engine from this angle, it's a lot dirtier than I thought it was going to be down here. So we're going to have to clean a lot of stuff up. Real cool. Yeah. So that's today's plan. Oh, this isn't connect to anything. There we go. And then we get to play with what's wrong with the engine. Okay, let's get to work. Ready to go. All right, I'm reading through the engine removal process, and there's this bolt in front of the engine right here that you can take out, and I don't know if anything will come out or not, but we'll see. I'm hoping it's just gonna pour out. I'm worried it's gonna just leak everywhere. Look at that. Here's another coolant drain port. Look at that. Well, if that ain't friggin' cool, I don't know what is. Yeah, this drains all of them out of the cylinder, which I think is neat. I didn't even know that existed, so that's cool. Have to show the owner that, Tony. See what he says, because that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot more the rest of the coolant, I guess, would be out of the bike now. Might be a little bit left in there, but that'll drain majority of it. Putting that rag there, as it hitting it now, it's not splattering as much. let that drip for a while. Don't lose that bolt. And then we're gonna get back to the repair manual, which I have up on my Mac here, and it's gonna say pull off the connectors, engine, free all the wiring. It just talks about everything you need to disconnect, and we've disconnected a lot of this, which is good. But it's always good to double check everything you've got here just to make sure. Aha, put a plank, put a spacer, that's how you do that. Voila. Okay, so here somewhere is the new lift I purchased. Yay. From Amazon, of course, because, 2-day shipping. Where this is going to go underneath it on that bubble wrap that's down there. The bubble wrap's just to protect the lift. We'll raise this up. We'll get a 2x4 or 4x4, something to fit in the gap. And we'll be able to drop the engine down onto that. Obviously, lift that up, drop it down. Cool. Voila. Still the filter on. We're going to leave that on for a minute. And just for now, and it'll be fine. So yeah, gonna keep removing the engine and see if we can get some of these connectors apart as we drop it down just a bit, just to get a little bit more room in there. It said remove the starter bolts. I don't know where. The picture wasn't too clear on where that was, but we're gonna play that game that you always play if you ever moved a motor. It's called What Has Tension on It Still? Including, I think, the throttle still is connected here. I have to disconnect that. I got to take these covers off. There's a bit more still to do, but we'll get there. Oh, Lord. This will be fun. Okay. I'm back. Alright, tube of you, we are going to start playing with this engine down here. It literally says to use wood blocking to support the engine. So we've got this 4x4, which is just a touch too long. And we may have to cut it down. We're going to see if we can get this to get in there nicely. Don't want to catch any... Well, I guess it's got to go down, so... Okay. So we're just barely touching over here. It comes back out here just a touch more. I think this might do it. Okay. So we have no support on this side now. So we're going to have to get... I want something in there. And I don't know what I've got for scrap wood laying around, but I think I've got something that'll fit in there. It's like 3/4, half-inch, maybe a little more. I guess we should measure it, right? I'm going to do the old school measuring trick. Let's grab a 3/4 inch socket. And bigger. Okay. Let's see. That's how we start. Why didn't I grab a tape measure? Well, A, I don't see it right now. B, shush. 7/8 bigger. It's probably an inch now. Okay, so we're gonna find something in that thickness, or do a combination of things that get us to that thickness, and we'll get back to it. I'm trying to think of what I have. I know I've got some 2x4s. I got some smaller trim pieces in the house somewhere I can look at, see what I can get. But if we look at the repair manual, you got like a 2x4 or 2x4 on the side, 2x4 this way, 2x4 that way. So we may have to kind of balance it nicely and figure this out. But it's got step by step in here. So yourself a repair manual, service manual. We'll get there. I promise. Okay, let me go find some wood. Okay, so I got some more pieces of wood. This is just some scrap pallet wood that I had laying around. And it looks like it's going to be just a smidge short, but once the engine drops down just a bit, it'll be fine. Like, I mean, it's like millimeters off from touching it with a little bit of pressure on the engine. So I'm going to call that good because once it falls off, it's gonna tip just that much. It's going to be okay. So the next thing we got to do is there's fairing brackets on both sides that we got to take off, and I think it's then this whole assembly up here, and I think that allows the engine to kind of rotate in here. If I look at this again, I can pull this off. And we got some nuts to go all the way through. I got to read the full instruction manual. I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to leave anything to chance on it, and I got to figure out where this starter. The repair manual shows the starter bolt. It might be like a ground to the starter. I haven't found it yet. I have a feeling it's like down in here somewhere. Maybe it's this guy right here. Is that this guy? But it's disconnected on this end, so who cares, in my opinion? If I mean, it's still connected. So if it is that one, I'm leaving it because it's the negative for the battery, so it's fine. And then we should be able to slowly lower the engine down while, making sure that any of the stuff that's up in here, if it needs to be disconnected, it is, or if it can stay for right now, it can. And then we're going to have to start playing with getting more stuff out of the way and dropping this engine completely out and start taking everything apart because we are tearing this motor down to basically nothing. We got to get to the bottom casings, and yeah. Luckily, we have the whole repair manual. So when we come back to rebuild it, we should be able to. But I think we got to get down to the transmission and see what may have blown up in there, because that seems to be where the damage is. Also, yeah, this definitely goes all the way through to there, and then there's another, maybe this one to the other side is the lock one. So there's a couple things we got to take apart before we can drop this engine out, but we're getting there. So, yeah. Well, good news is I left my 10 mil. So let's start taking everything apart. We will organize as we go. We're going to have to see if my buddy's coming with his truck. We're going to work on some shelving projects for the whole garage as well. By we, I mean you and I. Everyone else who's going to come help me is just going to move some stuff for me because I don't have a truck yet, which I'm working on something crazy. Oh man, those are tight. So yeah, we'll work on it. Yeah, I know these are the first things to come off. I read the manual, so we'll pull these off. I think I'll just kind of be back and forth between the manual and pulling one thing off at a time, really. Oop, there goes the wrench. So yeah. So just as I said, the next thing's coming off are these plates here. So we're using 6mm. Break all these loose without breaking my tool. I'd like to thank the wife, Heather Moto Girl, for purchasing these tools for me. We'll tighten that. Come on. There we go. Whew. Tight, tight, tight. One of these are Loctited in. The repair manual will tell us what's Loctite and what's not, but it's good to look as we go. And this bolt here is just a fairing bolt, so that doesn't have to come out. Now again, for this side, we've only got, looks like, well, maybe this is a bolt too. 4 bolts on this side as well. This one's black for some reason. Weird. Man, are these nice in there. They're nice and tight in there. So we might have to buy a 5mm. Oh, actually, I think I have one. Hex head socket. I think I might have one actually already. To torque these back down, because I know these are supporting the engine basically. So we want to make sure those are in there nice and to spec when we get there. So the other thing we're going to do Almost punched the frame with that one. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to mark all the bolts that we torqued down. I think when I do it for this, I'm just going to use tape because we don't want to leave permanent markings all over this bike, because I don't remember exactly what's going to be exposed and what won't be, but we definitely don't want to like leave marking, like all the marker. Yeah, it looks like there's probably some lock down there around the bike. So I was thinking maybe just a little strip of tape to hey, be like, hey, yeah, we torqued that. It's not that big of a deal. We got this. So we'll see when we get there, though. Huh. It's weird that one's got a little bit of a collar on it, the rest don't. I mean, it's different length too. It's different location. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to finally get this engine broken down and see what actually died inside it, because we're not really sure what broke. It looks like transmission. There's definitely crankcase issue, and this is the storage issue I'm talking about. Like, there's really nothing here, and so I'm just gonna build a big shelving unit here, put stuff all over it. That's the game plan, at least. Okay, those are off. That's off. I'm going to go with upper, middle, lower. Wow. No. Wait, that's not a part of the engine, is it? Yeah, it must be. That's a connection. So the yeah, that's part of it. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3 in there. And man, we need to put a new chain on this when we get there, don't we? This thing is gross. All right, let's remove 1, 2, and 3 at least, and see where we're at. See if the engine falls. All right, I've got all the bolts out, all the ones I can see. The only thing that we might need to do before this engine's ready to come out fully, because it is definitely loose. It's definitely not where it should be based on bolt holes right now. It's starting to move. Is there are a little adjustment. Its frame. Screws, adjustment things in here look like this guy, but I don't have a big enough wrench for it. I think they're 12mm hex. I have up to 10, but I think we're gonna lower this engine just a bit and see if it's gonna move. And I'm watching. Oh, it's moving. Oh, maybe we got it. Hold on, let's see. Oh, it's coming down. It's coming down. And it might just be tipping. It might not be actually coming out of the engine. Because, yeah, this bolt hole in the back looks like it's pretty well aligned still. On this side. Okay. So I'm going to have to... Yeah, it's definitely bolted in still with a screw or a bolt of some sort. Interesting. Okay. So I might have to go to the store and buy another tool. Yay. Okay, a line there, and where's the lower one here? Here? No, there. Yeah. That looks okay. That one doesn't look like it has a set screw in it. So I'm wondering if, let's check. I got my 10mm here. Big guy. I've never used it for anything yet, so cool. But it's definitely not big enough. And I have a feeling that, yeah, it feels like the same size thing. Yeah, definitely not turning it. So it's definitely bigger than a 10mm. So I'm probably going to need a 12mm in there. And then we'll be able to drop the engine, most likely. That looks like the only part that's still on there. This is frame. And in the manual, I swear it shows me loosening this, but it was up here that this was, that this was not part of it. that I think the manual actually shows the wrong area, the wrong picture for this, which happens from time to time. Okay, so that's disconnected, that's disconnected. If we're not pulling this frame fully down right now, we're gonna line the bolt back up. I need to have a bolt holding it in, or two. This one still looks aligned, so we're gonna have to check the manual one last time. I think a 12 millimeter in there, loosen or tighten that, whichever way works. This one looks good, and then we'll drop the engine. So we're like that close, that close. Okay, let's go do that. All right, YouTube, we do not need specialty tools. See this guy here? See how this fits in here? Look at that. Kawasaki's thought this through, and I just missed a step and didn't realize what it was for. This goes in, and you turn it. It says clockwise. I thought it said clockwise. Let's see. No, maybe it's counterclockwise. Let me get this to move. Okay, anyway, that, and this one, this one in here, I can't get it in there now, but once you put it in there and you turn it, this is actually a 12 millimeter. So it looks like, and maybe if I raise this engine back up into the right spot, it'll take some pressure off that so I can turn it. Oh no, that wasn't this bolt. That was... This bolt was in here. Weird. Okay. That one. That was the other one. This one goes in here. Okay. So this one, I'm going to refer to the repair manual for a second. We'll check that one. Alright, so I was close. This says to rotate it clockwise to make the gap you need. So, oh Lord, yep, that was loose. That loosened it right up. I'm gonna turn it a couple turns, and then we'll pull it out, and then the engine should be coming out. Should be. We'll see. Whew. Nervous, slightly nervous, but it's just an engine. Just an engine. We'll get this. Now, from this side, we have to force these bolts back out. 1 and 2 down here. Let's see if I can get them to come back out. I'm going to use my trusty thing. Just give it a little tap. See if we get it moving. Okay, I don't want to hit it too hard and have it go flying out the other end. I don't want it stuck in there too much. Imagine, shoots out, hits the Subaru, breaks the glass, something. Yes, so well. Okay, so you pull these back out, and silly enough, I had them in the right spot too. And now the moment of truth. What comes off? Oh yeah, now she's moving, folks. She is moving. All right. So, gonna take this really nice and slow, as I am just a one-man operation out here. Do not want this going terrible. Oh, she slips. Okay. Then we're gonna look at all these little connectors here and see what needs to come off as we go. So that's just a wiring harness. The thing goes up here and into a bunch of stuff that is all disconnected. Nice. This is the harness for, it looks like, coils and throttle body position. No, that's something else too. Okay. So let's keep going down a little bit. This is where we test the tensile strength of every wire in this bike. Wait, so it's on top of the frame back here, so it's got to tip forward as it comes down, and then kind of... Oh, that's slightly terrifying. Let's see if we can get it to move. Seeing as the engine's now just floating in the frame, and I don't like that idea, let's bring this back up a little bit. Okay, got some support on the engine again. That's good. Let's see if we can... Oh yeah, she's shifting in there. Okay. Okay, we'll get the... Oop, do not... Okay, do not mess that up. That just pulls out, good to know. Okay, she's ready to come out that way. It's gonna have to kind of tip, I think, without breaking anything. I may wait until I have an extra set of hands for this, because this is getting into danger zone for me here. We still have to take the throttle cables off down here because we were unable to get to them while we were up at the top. So I was able to do a little more work here that I didn't think I'd be able to. This is the throttle body assembly. Kawasaki, in their infinite awesomeness, has created this hole. There's one on the other side. They go in and literally will loosen up your... The rock just came out of the engine. That's not good. You can go in and you can loosen your throttle body clamps, which are still here, and then pull the whole throttle body assembly out, which opens this up a bit more. It allows me to drop the engine even easier. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to be easy. It's going to be easier. The engine it's free. So she's going down. We're going to drop this all the way down, and then I'm going to wait a couple days until my buddy who owns the bike comes over before we get it off this lift. This is gotta be a 150-pound engine, and I don't really feel like having a hernia trying to get this off here. And it's his bike, so he can have the hernia. How's that sound? But once we get this off the lift, we'll probably get the ZX-10R off the lift. Put something else back up on it, but we'll see. I'm gonna move this. Okay, so I can just slide this whole thing in. Oh, this is gonna be easy-ish, I think. I just gotta make sure to keep it supported. And yeah, engine is free. There we go. It seems to be stable. We are gonna throw a ratchet strap around it, just to keep it locked onto the lift it's on. But now, just maybe we can get to the back side of this engine where we saw the crack before and see what we're dealing with. I don't see it anymore. I have to look again. Okay, but the engine is free. I still got a little bit of wiring harness here that I gotta make sure everything is 100% disconnected, which it appears to be. There's one wire here. Oh no, that's disconnected. Just caught on something. Everything else is disconnected. It is a free engine. So, yeah, gotta make sure I was recording this. So there we go. The engine is out of the ZX-10R. I'm just gonna drop this all the way down so that if it does decide it needs to tip one way or another, it's got less area to fall to. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Either rebuilding this engine or just fixing it enough, excuse me, that we can talk about rebuilding. I have to identify the crack in this. Where right there. So you're stable, right? You're not going anywhere? Promise? Good. Let me get a different light out. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. So there's the crack. Weird place for that to crack. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you see just above the numbers. Let me try to get a better angle. I'll take a picture too. There's a crack right in the casing. Why? I don't know. But that's where it was spewing oil from. So yeah, we have to we gotta get this off the lift. Find a nice place to set her down. And we're gonna start disassembling this motherfucker. We're gonna get some of these rocks off it too. But yeah, there's where the case failed. Huh. And behind here, in this area, is the transmission. So did something in the transmission fail? Like, what am I gonna find when I crack this open? You guys let me know what you think I'm gonna find. Any Kawasaki techs, some bouncy off stuff. Kawasaki techs that watch this, let me know what I might find in here. But yeah. But I think this is enough for today. I am thrilled with the progress. Yeah. And yeah, we're gonna get working. We're gonna get this off here and we're gonna work. So until the next one, you guys ride safe, have fun. We'll talk to you in a few. We're gonna have a lot more videos coming up, so stay tuned. Bye for now.